a number of threats to fungicide use in the UK. First of all, from a resistance perspective, and we're investing in that from a knowledge perspective. There's also regulatory threats to the current portfolio of products that we've got available, specifically the triazole technology for cereal fungicides in the UK. Certainly from a cereal fungicide perspective, probably the biggest threat lies with the triazole group of chemistry, and to a point all triazoles are potentially at risk depending on where the regulatory framework goes and develops and where that bar is set. So the most commonly used products such as epoxyconazole but also prothioconazole are all potentially at risk in terms of from a cereal fungicide perspective.
Well, it's important to manage resistance for many reasons, but primarily we're about protecting yield, doing what we can to maintain sustainable and effective crop production in the field. So we know that many of our current actives are either significantly eroded in their efficacy, or we have new examples where we have complete resistance or threats to some of that newer chemistry. And we have threatened losses through legislation as well, all of which will give us an increased reliance on fewer options, which will further fuel resistance development. So it's absolutely crucial we protect all the tools that we have.
In wheat, septoria is getting harder to control because of variations in season anyway, but also as resistance builds up, we're needing to use higher doses and more complicated mixtures to get the same level of control as we were maybe 6 years ago.
So in barley we've got a slightly broader portfolio of active ingredients available to us, although that many are similar that we have in wheat. So we do have more available, but most of them have shown signs of resistance in places or have indications that that area of chemistry is not immune from resistance. So they do need to be carefully managed.
The financial impact of not managing fungicide resistance could be that in the future that additional applications could be required, or indeed the yield of crops could come down substantially if there aren't products available to deal with diseases. Could be substantial.
I believe the future is positive if we take steps now to protect the chemistry we've got in the portfolio today. So the TUN initiative is a good example of that, but there is only so much we as manufacturers can do. We can bring forward very clear guidelines, set out what the risks are from a resistance management perspective, but agronomists and growers play an essential part in that partnership to ensure that these products remain effective for the longer term.
BASF. We create chemistry.